Hi everybody, it's me Jill and welcome to Jill Informed. This is my pumptini-sized mini recap of Vanderpump Rules Season 10, Episode 11, Mistress in Distress. So, first order of business. In my defense, the reason why I can't get these down to like 10-minute videos anymore isn't just because I can't shut up my big damn mouth. It's also because these are like super-sized episodes. I just realized that the last two, I think, were like an hour and 15 minutes long. So, that doesn't help things any. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Well, kids, we are back home. Yep. The big wedding extravaganza in Mexico is over. Scheana and Brock are writing thank you notes to all their guests. I assume even the ones that spent time with Katie. Happy birthday, Christina Kelly. James and Allie are talking about the Schwartz and Raquel kiss and whether or not they think that those two are going to start dating. Charli is in the park with Raquel, taking pictures of her for Hinge. I don't know, taking pictures of her for some reason. Katie has stopped over at Schwartz's apartment to pick up the dogs. I guess they share custody. And Schwartz starts to have a conversation with her. He's, oh, Bob, I'm so stressed out this week. Oh, God, there's a lot going on. We don't have a kitchen staff. We're not going to be able to open next week. Katie, that sounds awful. Okay, see ya. Walks out with the dogs. So Schwartz immediately calls Sandoval, who's in the middle of his confessional, which is weird because I don't think I've ever seen that before. Anyways, you hear his phone ring and he goes, it's Schwartz. Maybe I should get it. And they're like, yeah, we can take a break. So he's like, Katie just picked up the dogs and left in like 30 seconds. Usually we kick it for a bit. Catch up? I don't know, man. I did nothing wrong. Really? I think you kind of did. You agreed not to hook up with someone in the friend group. If that wasn't something you wanted to agree to, you could have been a jerk and said no, but you agreed to it. So she doesn't want to be your friend now. That's her prerogative. Back in the park with Charli and Raquel, Charli said, so Katie invited me to lunch, and I was pretty disappointed with the information she gave me. I think it's distasteful what happened at Scheana's wedding with Tom. So rather than take responsibility for her decision to make out with a guy in their friend group that your friend told you she didn't want to happen, she defends it by saying Katie shouldn't have been in Mexico anyway. Now, I happen to agree with the fact that Katie shouldn't have been in Mexico, but as one of you in the comments pointed out to me, Katie was doing her job. It's not like they were going to put her up at another hotel even, or that they had the clearance to film in another hotel. They wanted Katie there. They wanted this little back and forth. And the reality is, Katie probably didn't want to be there either. It was a good point to make because I do kind of forget that sometimes. This is a TV show. Everything's done for a reason. And even though I don't think it's necessarily scripted, I do think there are certain situations like let's have Katie also in Mexico filming and so that there can be some conflict going on, Anyway, Charli says, yeah, honestly, I wouldn't have done that if I were you. There's still a 12-year relationship there. And I thought, Raquel's better than that. Yeah, you would think that, but turns out, no. Raquel's not better than that. Actually, Raquel's a lot worse than that. Raquel says, look, it's not like I'm gonna be dating him or anything, if that's what you were thinking. Then in her confessional, Raquel says, I would be down to dating Schwartz if he wanted to, but I don't want to be some kind of Debbie Desperado over here. Oh, Raquel. So anyway, Raquel has other plans. Oliver is in town and they're going to go out on a date. Are there any actual available men in Los Angeles? Just wondering, because if a girl that looks like Raquel can't find a single guy, does anybody else have any hope? What are there? Is it like one guy to every 100 women or something? I don't get it. Why does she have to be with unavailable men? Next, we are at Schwartz and Sandy's with the Toms. It's bustling and crowded, and I'm just kidding. They still can't open it, and they're getting more bad news from Brett, their general manager, who tells them that while they were in Mexico, some guy quit. I can't remember what the equipment broke, and then the guy just left. I don't know. And not only that, the one chef that they got, the kitchen guy, Brett fired him because he wasn't making the dishes the right way or something. The Toms were mad. Sandoval was like getting really upset. And he's like, I don't care if we're just serving potato chips. We've got to open the door or we're going to lose this place. Sandoval in his confessional says, we're $1 million in and I could lose my house. My mom could lose her retirement. But Brett and Greg don't have those kind of stakes. If this doesn't open, Brett just moves on to another job. Greg's fine. So yeah, there's a lot of stress for the Toms. The next scene is at Tom and Ariana's house, and Katie comes over, and she's got like some cheeses and stuff. I don't know. I think they're figuring out what they're going to serve at their sandwich shop. Tom says he's envious of their sandwich shop because it's so small and their rent is so low and, you know, they don't have a partner they have to deal with like Greg. And Katie tells them that she saw Schwartz for 4 seconds earlier. And Sandoval goes, so what? Are you guys not friends anymore because he made out with Raquel? And Katie goes, yeah, Sandoval. I don't think that was that big of a deal. Really? Why's that, Tom? You don't think there's anything there between Raquel and Schwartz? Tell us why. He's like, they're just two single people, decent looking in Mexico that just decided to make out. Katie's like, we had this conversation 900 times and Schwartz told me 100 times that he wouldn't do something like that. Now there's this aftermath to deal with. And Sandoval's like, well, what aftermath do you have to deal with? And Ariana goes, well, they're not friends anymore, so there's that aftermath. And now it's going to make it very difficult for her to be friends with Raquel. Yeah, Katie's not the only one that's going to have trouble being friends with Raquel in the future. Katie's like, she's a whore. Ariana's like, no, she's not. She's not getting paid to do anything. She's just a jerk. And Katie goes, well, she should be because she's acting like one. Then Katie says, Tom also has a bad habit of sticking his tongue where it doesn't belong. He's done that 4 times to me while we were together, so I really shouldn't be surprised. And Sandoval goes, well, yeah, you shouldn't be surprised. Ariana goes, they made a deal. And Katie's like, it feels like disrespect. I truly don't think he would like it if I started hopping on all his friends' peas. I don't know. Would he? Would he care? I don't think so. I'm not sure what Schwartz cares about, actually. Anyway, now we are at See You Next Tuesday. It's Sir. James is DJing. The Toms are there for some reason. Raquel is working. Charli's working. And Lisa stops in to have a chat with the Toms. First, she stops by the DJ booth to say hi to James, and he tells her about the kiss between Schwartz and Raquel. And Lisa goes, oh, sounds like you might be a little bit jealous. And in his confessional, James is like, I'm not jealous, please. She'll make out with sweaty Peter after a 6-hour shift, and then she'll move on to Mr. Buzz Button over there. Buzz Button. All right, so Lisa sits down with the Toms, and Raquel comes by to take their order. Sandoval tells her to come and sit down between him and Schwartz. It's weird. Of course, like we look at everything different because we know that at this point of filming, she was with Sandoval already. And Sandoval tells Raquel that Katie called her a whore. And Raquel acts so injured. It's annoying. She looks like a wounded bunny. And Lisa goes, oh, why did you have to tell her that? And Raquel's like, I'm sorry, does kissing people make you a whore? Well, no. But, you know, Katie exaggerates. And also she's hurt. And also she's very mean. And also you did something really shitty to her. But mostly it's because you're doing something even worse to a girl who's been a really good friend to you. And even though technically it might not make you a whore, it makes you a bad person. So she gets up to go put their order in, and Lisa goes, oh, you probably upset her. So Sandoval goes, Raquel. And she comes back, and then what the heck? Are they going to embrace? I mean, I feel like Raquel didn't know if she should go into his arms or it's so weird. He's like, are you okay? And Lisa goes, well, no, of course she's not okay. Tom, nobody wants to hear something like that. She's smiling, Lisa. Look at her. She's fine. All right, now we are at Lala's apartment, and Katie, Christina Kelly, and Allie come over. And guess what? Tomorrow is Lala's birthday, and she's having a big celebration. Sorry, Christina Kelly. At some place called Classic Cat, and Katie is bringing her new man. We're finally getting to meet Katie's new man, Satchel, a.k.a. Tiny Tim, a.k.a. Small Man Big Pants. Lala has invited everyone except Schwartz, Raquel, and she didn't invite Charli either. It's like Charli just got demoted to being a normal server at SUR, you know? Like some of the others who don't get on the show at all. Christina Kelly's on more than Charli. Okay, the next scene is at Villa Rosa, and the Toms come over to talk to Lisa. But, there's been some sad news. You know her two little mini ponies, Diamonds and Rosé? Rosé died suddenly. Lisa said she was only 6 years old. Also, I'm sorry, it's a very sketchy story. She said she was never sick a day in her life, and then one day they found her laying down, and Ken picked her up and put her in the car to take her to the vet, and she died on the way there. And then that's all we know. I hope they're doing an autopsy or something, because maybe Diamonds is going to get sick now. I hope not, of course, but that's just so weird. Anyway, they do a little toast with Rosé to Rosé. Tom Schwartz is like, little Rosé, gone too soon. And I didn't know if he was going to start laughing, if Sandoval was going to laugh. I mean, they didn't, thank God, because Lisa is pretty distraught, of course. And she's like, I'm just gutted, but we've got so much to talk about. I'm not sure what they have to talk about exactly, because it really just turns into the Toms yelling kind of at each other. Sandoval gets really loud and upset and, angry. And Schwartz is like, okay, we're getting close to opening, but Tom, you blowing up like that does nothing. And I've never seen Schwartz this forceful. It was kind of good to see. He's like, you get all loud and upset, but you don't back it up. And Sandoval's like, what are you talking about? Off. Schwartz goes, when we had to submit the menu, you went to band practice and then you went and got your nails done. You weighed in at 12:30 in the morning. In his confessional, Sandoval goes, well, first of all, the band practice was scheduled weeks in advance, and I'm not about to walk around town with some grubby-ass chipped nails. At least he's got his priorities straight. So, nothing really resolves there. And the next scene, we're at Tom and Ariana's. And this scene's even weirder than the others, because Ariana talks about how 2 years ago she had frozen her eggs and they retrieved 26 of them, which is an amazing amount. And Sandoval is preparing to fertilize them. I am very confused here, because all I ever remember is that Sandoval wanted to have kids and Ariana did not. So much so to the point where one season, either season 7 or season 8, I can't remember, that was their storyline. Sandoval even said, I will raise the child myself. You can be as involved or as not involved as you want to be. This is what he really wanted, and she did not. So this whole thing is surprising me and confusing me. Okay, well, if I would have waited a second, Ariana does kind of explain it. I guess she says her feelings really haven't changed, but she does not like that there's a biological clock ticking. So just in case, if she should ever want to change her mind, she just wants that option. So she had the egg retrieval. And according to her, I guess fertilized embryos are more viable than just plain eggs. So that's why she wants Sandoval to fertilize some of them. Obviously, knowing what we know now, that doesn't happen. I believe I heard that Tom Sandoval said he never ended up fertilizing the eggs. So, crisis averted. But anyway, now in the scene, Tom is telling Ariana that he feels like lately when he tries to tell her something, that she takes the point of view of the other person in, like, if he's having an argument with someone, for example, she will take the other person's side, not his. And it just occurs to me right now that I bet Raquel just hangs on his every word. You know what I mean? I bet he just gets everything from her that he's not getting from Ariana. Just a doe-eyed little, I just feel like she thinks he's amazing and wonderful, and his ego probably just eats it up. He says to Ariana, sometimes I feel like you don't think I'm smart, like you just think I'm an idiot. And she goes, Tom, I wouldn't be with someone that I thought was an idiot, first of all. And second of all, if I thought you were an idiot, I would be much nicer to you. Because I would be like, oh, you poor thing. And he goes, sometimes I just feel like I'm annoying you. And she goes, Tom, you know you're annoying me on purpose. And he kind of laughs and he goes, sometimes, but not all the time. And she just says, look, we've been together for a long time. I can only imagine how annoying I've been. All right, next, Lisa heads over to Pump and she is meeting Garcelle and Oliver for lunch. Lisa's very complimentary about Oliver. She said, usually when a friend asks me, do you have a job for my son? I'm like, oh no. But this has really been a blessing. Oliver has been wonderful. So Garcelle's like, oh, that's great to hear. Garcelle is complimenting Lisa's rosé. She's like, it's the best rosé of all her friends. And then, of course, we get a flashback to Lisa Rinna and having her own rosé. And then Lisa brings the conversation around to Oliver's night in Vegas when the girls were there for their little girls' trip. And she's like, you had a good time, didn't you? And he's like, oh, yeah, it was nice. And then she mentions Raquel in particular. And Garcelle goes, oh, boy, should I be here for this? Probably not. So Oliver says, yeah, he has some plans for a little rendezvous with Raquel while he's there in town. And Lisa asks him, do you like Raquel? Even Lisa can't believe it. No. And he goes, yeah, I do. So Lisa asks him specifically about his wife and they're splitting up. Oliver says they have been separated for months now. He's like, we're still working on co-parenting in a healthy way. And I still have love and respect for her. She's a great mom. And, we're always going to be a family. And Garcelle said, my ex-husband, Mike, also models like what a stepdad should do. She thinks, or I guess she hopes that, Oliver is going to still be like a good dad to his ex-wife's kids from a previous relationship, And then she just talks about, it's sad when relationships break up because you always want to feel like this is the one. And she said to Lisa, is that how it was when you met Ken? Did you feel that? And Lisa goes, well, I felt something. I think I was bent over the bathtub, but I definitely felt something. Ew. Oh, Lisa, you're incorrigible. Anyway, next, we are with James and Allie at their apartment. They're picking out their clothes for Lala's birthday party that night. When Allie says, I'm worried I started something last night at Lala's apartment. She's talking about when she was over there with Christina, Kelly, and Katie and her. In her confessional, she says, last night when I was grabbing my stuff to leave Lala's apartment, I mentioned that I saw Sandoval and Raquel dancing together at the Abbey after See You Next Tuesday. I thought it was kind of weird, and it was 1 a.m., and we were like, where's Ariana? So Allie says that she personally wouldn't be comfortable with her boyfriend out with other girls at 1 a.m, but everyone's different. James says he's noticed how much Raquel is hanging out with the Toms. He's like, well, they're all the best of buds these days, aren't they? I wouldn't put too much into it, though. So this is interesting to me. And of course, hindsight is 20/20, but it's kind of like they're hiding in plain sight. And if the Schwartz kiss was not some kind of a calculated decoy, then it just sure worked in their favor then. It was just a very happy coincidence for them. I mean, think about it. They were essentially caught together and people still aren't suspecting anything, or at least James isn't. And yes, it could be because James is still kind of fixated on Schwartz. So now that she's dancing with Sandoval, he's like, whatever, that's probably nothing. But if she were dancing with Schwartz, I'm sure he would think that meant that there was more going on between them. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard for him to shift his thought to, oh, wait, maybe it's not Schwartz, maybe it's Sandoval. Which I get because that seems absurd. At least Schwartz and Katie are divorcing, but Sandoval is in a 9+ year relationship. Anyway, next we're doing like a couple little check-ins. At Raquel's apartment, Scheana and Brock show up. At Lala's apartment, Christina Kelly shows up. Christina has brought flowers for Lala because it's her birthday. Lala says it's her first birthday as a single woman in a very long time. But she would also like to end the night with birthday sex. So she's just, putting it out there for the universe. Getting the vibes out there now. And Lala's like, oh, I have so much to tell you. And Christina Kelly's like, I just saw you. How much could you have to tell me? And she goes, oh, yeah, a lot. So I guess after Oliver posted the picture of himself and the girls in Vegas, his wife reached out to Lala. I guess, I don't know, she's a fan, I don't know. And she told her that the way Raquel was leaning into Oliver gave her a pit in her stomach. She got a very bad feeling from it. And she's like, I knew something was wrong. So Lala goes, I told her that they made out that night and he's coming here to go out on a date with her. Then we cut to Raquel's apartment, and Raquel goes, you guys, I just checked my Instagram and someone DM'd me. They're saying that apparently Oliver isn't separated from his wife. And his wife has been posting stories that he's been cheating on her with multiple women and specifically named me. Back at Lala's, Christina Kelly goes, obviously, Raquel doesn't know any of this. And Lala goes, well, she's about to find out because I'm going to go in on that hoe. What? Why? It's the same thing you went through. Why would you do that? I thought you were so pro-women. Anyway, back at Raquel's. Brock goes, you have a date with him tonight? And Raquel goes, well, I was supposed to. He just texted and he's like, I'll see you later, beautiful. Scheana thinks she should still go and find out what's going on. You need to question him in person. And Brock suggests that she talk to his ex first. So she calls her. Yeah. Right then and there, she's like, hi, Samantha, it's Raquel. So I'm sorry to hear about everything. I watched your stories and I read your Instagram post, and I had no idea he was still committed to you. Wait, time out. I thought you just then and there got an Instagram DM from somebody telling you that his wife has been... Now you're like, yeah, I watched your stories and your posts. Which is it? So anyway, I guess Samantha told her that Oliver promised that he would work on their marriage and that they live in the same apartment. And Raquel's like, it seems so manipulative and selfish. Yeah, but on whose part? Like, who's manipulating you? I am always on the female side, but I just watched this scene where Oliver was talking about Raquel in front of his mother and Lisa Vanderpump, and he talked about how he's been separated for months. And I just don't think you do that if it's not true. I don't think you're having this conversation with your mom and your boss. So I'm wondering if Samantha is being manipulative. I don't know. Like, I'm just saying, like, is it possible that Samantha, it's just wishful thinking on her part? Like, she wants them to work on their marriage, but she knows that they really are separated. I don't know. Like I said, I am normally always on the woman's side, but that whole lunch with Garcelle is throwing me. Anyway, Raquel is still on the phone with Samantha, and she's like, I hate being put in this position. I had no clue. She looks so distraught at the notion that she could unwittingly be in the middle of someone's marriage or relationship while she knows that she is in the middle of someone else's relationship and a good friend, no less. That is what's so diabolical about this. She almost looks like she might start crying. And the empathy on Scheana's face, oh my God. Back at Lala's, she tells Christina Kelly that Samantha told her that after that night at Disco Pussy when he was making out with Raquel, he went home and slept with his wife. And Christina Kelly goes, when is she going out on a date with him? And Lala goes, I think tonight. Christina Kelly, you're joking. Why? I mean, you guys don't even think that Raquel knows about it. So why wouldn't she be going out on a date with him? If she's unaware of what Samantha's saying, why be shocked is what I'm saying. Back at Raquel's, she's apologizing to Samantha and she says, I'm going to confront him tonight. And they hang up. And Scheana goes, now you're going to be dragged on social media and you're going to be the other woman. And that's not fair. Oh my God. Honestly, what must Raquel be thinking when Scheana says this to her? Knowing what she knows. Scheana says she knows what it's like to be labeled mistress. She's been called that for 17 years. At Lala's, Christina Kelly's like, and she was just calling you a mistress. And Lala's like, yeah, and you know what they call what you're doing, Raquel? They call it a mistress. So yeah, I mean, not Lala's finest hour, I would say, for someone who's supposed to be like a girl's girl and empowering other girls. The minute someone you don't like gets put unfairly in a situation, I'm not talking about Sandoval, that's not unfair, but this, she didn't know about Oliver's wife. The second she's put in an unfair situation, very much like the unfair situation you say you were put in with Rand, and you are happy to attack her like everybody attacked you? I don't know. I think you should try to be better than that. Okay, it is party time, and we are celebrating Lala. Happy birthday, Christina Kelly. She and Lala arrive first at the Classic Cat, and right after them, we see Katie and Satchel and Satchel's pants. Okay, the more I see of Satchel, a.k.a. Tiny Tim, a.k.a. Small Boy Big Pants, I think he might be cool. Wait, hear me out. It's like at first glance, his hair is a bit off. His stature is like a bit off. His pants are a bit off. I mean, not literally. They are still very much on. Those pants are wearing him. But upon second glance, is he cool? I'm so confused. Like, I like his boots. I like the pants rolled up. I think he is kind of cute. Like, his face is cute. I am intrigued by Satchel. I'm going to leave it at that for now. Katie looks hot. She looks really good tonight. Lala and Christina Kelly get to meet Satchel for the first time. And Lala's like, oh my God, Katie, you're beaming. And Satchel just like looks over at her and he goes, you look beautiful. Puts his arm around her. I mean, I feel like she's gotten more affection from Satchel just in this scene than she has in probably the last 4 years of her marriage to Schwartz. Okay, Ariana and Tom are walking up now. Then Allie and James, Scheana and Brock. They're introduced to Satchel. Scheana, of course, thinks that Satchel looks like he was groomed at Vanderpump Dogs. Anyway, so Lala and Katie start talking about Oliver stuff. Lala's like, I think he's on a date with Raquel tonight. And Katie's like, shut the f*** up. No, why are you guys all so shocked? If Raquel didn't know about it, then what do you expect? So now we cut to the date. And as soon as Raquel gets there, Oliver addresses, the elephant in the room. He's like, I don't know if you heard, but my son's mom put me on blast today. And Raquel goes, okay, I feel like I owe it to you to hear your side, but I should tell you that I spoke with Samantha today. And, you made it sound to me like you were separated. And he said, we are. I've had my own place for 8 months. Look, there were times that I would go over there and sometimes things would happen. This was all new to me and I was lonely and I missed my son. I'm not excusing it, but we are getting a divorce. And Raquel goes, where did you stay after the night that we kissed? Where did you stay that night? And Oliver goes, at my house, Raquel. At your house by yourself? And he goes, of course. She goes, because Samantha told me something different. So Oliver says they did not have sex that night. It might have been a few nights later. Okay. So Raquel goes, don't you think that's confusing for her? And he said, absolutely. Listen, I'm sorry this is so messy. And I'm sorry you got brought into it. And Raquel's like, I appreciate the apology, but it really doesn't make up for the bashing that I'm getting on social media because I'm seeing this guy that's actually married. Okay, maybe that bashing is unfair, but just consider it an early bashing for the thing that you really deserve to be bashed for. And by the way, this bashing is nothing compared to the one that you're about to get, unfortunately. I don't condone that or agree with that. I don't think people that don't have a vested interest in it, like you and me and the rest of us, should in any way be vicious. It's not our fight. I think we can all express our displeasure with you or that kind of thing. But when it gets to like death threats and stuff, that's insane. She's a 28-year-old. Think about how stupid we all were in our 20s. And I think it's dangerous. Are we all going to be happy if she commits suicide or something? This culture of taking everything to the nth degree has to stop. This is a TV show. Loving the drama. Just because it's fun, it's gossipy and fun. Love it. Sorry to Ariana. She deserves all the best. But to be wishing such hate and horrible things to Sandoval and Raquel is beyond wrong. Just my opinion. But also, this just make me think, Raquel, this little taste of being bashed in social media, why wasn't that some sort of a wake-up call for you to, immediately stop what you're doing with Sandoval? Why wasn't this like, okay, now I can see how bad it could get, and I didn't even know that Oliver, wasn't separated from his wife or whatever. And I'm not even sure he isn't separated from his wife, to be fair. But in any case, it's very, very different than Tom and Ariana. I don't know. I guess Tom was telling her that he and Ariana are basically broken up. Probably. Didn't Tom Schwartz on Watch What Happens Live say that Sandoval told him that he and Ariana were all but broken up? So I'm sure he told Raquel the same thing. The difference there, I know I keep contradicting myself, but the difference there is that Raquel was good friends with Ariana, so she knows if Ariana is acting like they're broken up or not. And I don't think she was. So there you go. Anyway, Oliver was very understanding and he said, listen, this is no way to start a relationship in all this mess. And I'm sorry. He apologized to her again. In her confessional, Raquel said, I'm furious with Oliver for making me look a certain way, which is not representative of who I am at all. He's very openly a cheater. And I guess she prefers guys who are secretly cheaters. She's like, he hasn't done anything to hide it or keep it from his wife. So I feel like he wants her to feel bad. Or he hasn't done anything to hide it from her because he's really separated from her and he doesn't feel like what he's doing is wrong. So anyway, they say their goodbyes. Look, Oliver's biggest crime here is that he's probably giving false hope to Samantha, his wife, a woman who desperately wants their marriage to work. At least he admits that he's wrong. I just hope that he's man enough to stop going over there and having sex with her, because I think she's clinging to any connection that he's giving her. If he truly believes that he is on the path to divorce, then going over there and having sex with her is cruel. Okay, so Raquel, like I said, she leaves and she gets in an Uber and she texts Scheana right away. She's like, I need to talk to Lala. Are you guys still at Cat? And Scheana goes, yeah, aren't you on a date? Which is weird because Scheana knows she's not on a date. She knows that she just went there to confront him. Whatever. Meanwhile, at Cat, James says, Lala, aren't you glad you weren't the one making out with Oliver? And Lala's like, she's calling me a mistress? Well, bitch, I wouldn't be so quick to throw daggers at me. I bet your mom's real proud of you, bitch. Okay, Lala, why don't you just save it until you find out about Sandoval? Because this is not Raquel's fault. All right, so Raquel texts Scheana again, and she's like, I'm here. Can you come meet me outside? And she tells her that she feels like she needs to pull Lala aside and talk to her. I assume it's to apologize for the mistress comment, but, who knows? Side note, don't you think Scheana should have warned her friend Raquel that Lala is, like, coming in hot and she's, like, going off right now about the mistress thing? I think I would have, just given her a little heads up for what you're about to step into. But anyway, Raquel walks in and she's like, hi. And Lala just looks at her and starts laughing. She's like, what's up, mistress? Raquel's like, do you mind joining me out in the front? And Lala's like, outside? And she goes, yeah. And Lala goes out with her, which really kind of surprised me. Honestly, I feel like this could have waited until after Lala's birthday party. But again, it's a TV show. I have to allow for certain weird things like that, I guess. Katie is calling Raquel a dumb bitch to Sandoval, and Sandoval goes, it seems like you get a lot of joy out of that. Well, yeah, she does. Katie has always gotten joy at other people's expense. Katie's like, it's just funny to me. And then, wait for it, she says, you get a lot of joy out of Raquel as well, I think. Yeah. After taking a beat to compose himself, he's trying to keep his face straight here, right? He's like, yeah, she's a cool person. And Katie goes, you're at the Abbey together dancing at 1 a.m. And Sandoval goes, what are you talking about, dude? But he has to know he was there and was caught. So whatever. We check back in outside with Lala and Raquel. Raquel does apologize for the Mistress comment. And at first, Lala isn't very gracious about it. She's like, that's why that night when you asked me if I was mad that you were going to go for him, you didn't ask any of the right questions. You should have asked, how long have you been separated? All that. She goes, I asked Rand those questions, but he just lied to me. Well, okay, so then what would be the point of Raquel asking Oliver, because he might have lied too. You're kind of making the point that it doesn't matter if you ask the right questions. Also, I believe Oliver has been separated for 8 months. And I think Samantha knows that they've been separated for 8 months and that he's got his own place. I think she knows all that. I think it's just that he still comes over and has sex with her every once in a while, that she feels like, there's hope there. Anyway, Raquel, again with the shaky voice, says she's sorry and she didn't know how easily a man can manipulate you into thinking it's one way when it's really the opposite. So now they talk about how the guys always get away scot-free, and it's the woman that takes the brunt of it. I have to keep reminding myself during this whole conversation that Raquel knows exactly what she's doing to Ariana right now. This affair has already started at this point, and it just blows my mind that during all of these conversations, Raquel has this information and how good of an actor she is, I guess. And a future cringe alert, Lala says to Raquel, of course I'm up here saying, you're a mistress. But do I really think that you're a mistress? No. You, my love, are not a mistress. Oh my God. And Raquel, knowing that she is a mistress, says, thank you for saying that. And Lala gives her a big hug. I mean, they hug for a minute, and Raquel's just like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Well, I guess this episode ended on a good note. Unbelievable. Raquel is unbelievable. That is crazy. Anyway, that is it for me this week. I think maybe this one's not going to be too long. Anyway, thank you guys for being here. If you liked this recap, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, Jill Informed, give it some thought. Doesn't cost you anything. Helps me, helps my channel. And if you would like to be notified every time I post anything new on my channel, go ahead and click on that bell icon. That's it for me. I'll see you guys next week. I love you. Bye.